Alrighty, hello. Welcome to the second episode of Backtesting ICT. We are going to keep moving linearly here. We are on day the 18th of January this year, Wednesday, 2023. Currently, we're up 10,000, just about 20% on the account, a little under 20% on the account, and about 18 days or so, which is pretty nice. And we're just going to continue to plug forward here. I'm going to start my 1 hour clock here. Timer has begun, let's begin. So I'm going to begin with marking out my midnight price, dragging it to 1600. Looks like we did see this OTE here. Taps the 78.6% retracement level, but we did also go to and through Tuesday's high. So we don't know if this is an OTE yet. Again, most of what I'm going to be looking at is just the 15-minute candles as my bellwether. I find that the 1 minute is a lot of noise and I will get sucked into trades. Anyhow, let's continue. We are below midnight price. Okay, we begin to go above midnight price. Looks like we're in a premium of this range. Okay, so if we draw a fib on this displacement here, look how the bodies respect the 78.6% retracement level. We may come down for this trendline liquidity and also relative equal lows. We'll just mark them as relative equal lows. Going into 330, something also to note is that price left these relative equal highs. This is way too clean. So price may come back up to take these relative equal highs before going lower, or we may take these relative equal lows. There's also this trend line liquidity here. Which is suspect to me. We have taken previous day's high. A lot of sell side over here. Moving into a SIBI. Let's see if we respect it. Looks like we do respect it. Going into 430. Continue to go lower. We tap midnight price at 6. Let's see if we respect this bearish order block. Okay, looks like we're probably going to come up to take these relative equal highs. We do, relative equal highs taken. We're above midnight price going into 7:45 a.m. This is a retail sales. This is a news day, but not incredibly high impact. Also notice these relative equal lows. This is really clean. The algorithm will come back for that, no doubt about it. 8:15, okay, we see a large protraction. This could be a fake move higher. I would anticipate it. Yeah, I would anticipate that to be a fake move higher. Plunging into Tuesday's highs here. Approaching market open. Okay, we take this buy side. Going into 9:45. Seek and destroy profile here throughout this market open. This is not advisable to trade. I do notice that these are some relative equal lows here. I would expect some downward movement here. Okay, we're clearly inaccurate on that. Looks like we're just moving straight up higher today. This could be an ICT classic buy day. We have taken a lot of buy side though, without any sell side delivery. Okay, we're going into 10:15. Yeah, okay, so we're starting to see that sell side delivery here. Still above midnight price. I'm really interested in if price will reach for these relative equal lows. What I'm anticipating in this current moment is this displacement leg down. I want to draw a fib on it and see if we see a retracement higher. Wow, that's a really large candle, 90 handles. Okay, so we have taken these relative equal lows. We still do have these relative equal lows here. Going into 1045, large SIBI here. I'm going to draw a fib on this massive displacement. Okay, so we've already taken these relative equal lows now. We've taken a lot of sell side now. We still do have these swing lows, trendline liquidity to take, with ultimately Tuesday's low, which could be the target, going into 11 a.m. now. Okay, so we've taken have we taken that low? Yeah, we have taken that low. This low right here. There is still Tuesday's low, which we have not taken. And okay, so we take Tuesday's low. Now this is where we want to look for signs of reversal at higher time frame levels. Often price can reverse at previous day's lows. We've taken an enormous amount of sell side. I mean, another target to take would be this swing low here. But I'm going to start observing the 1 minute to see a change in the state of delivery. I do see the sell side of the curve flattening out. And so I would anticipate a level of retracement into this displacement leg. Because this curve is flattening out. You can see it begin to flatten out, which means we can anticipate going further into the lunch hour that we may see a retracement into this massive displacement leg. I'm going to take this fib off. We're below midnight price, so longs are definitely preferable. I'm going to zoom in here on the 1 minute to look for a change in the state of delivery. This is a change in the state of delivery here. We have taken the sell side here. This is a potential 2022 setup. Okay. So I'm going to draw a fib on this displacement here. Okay, so we can see we protracted right a little bit below that 61.8% retracement level. I'm generally more hesitant to take trades on the lower time frame, such as the 1 minute, but for the sake of learning and practicing with that, we're going to trade that. So I'm going to look at entering a trade here. I notice that there are these relative equal highs here, these relative equal highs here. These are other points of liquidity, but I can't imagine we'd retrace that high up. I would say certainly a piece of low-hanging fruit would be this buy side here as well as this buy side here. Where do we put our stop? I'm going to put our stop right below this swing low. It was made at 1152. I'm going to put my target right here. Would most likely take a partial off when we take these relative equal highs, which I will mark out. So this is an OTE. We're going to enter here. We're going into noon here. It's currently 12:07. Putting our stop below the swing low, targeting these relative equal highs, anticipating a market maker buy model here, with the reversal point being at Tuesday's low, the previous day's low. I'm going to put on a position size of 20. This is a full E-mini contract. Let's save and journal this here. We've taken previous day's low. We've seen sell side liquidity taken, a change in the state of delivery, and an OTE into a discount fair value gap. Targeting low hanging fruit, the relative equal highs above. Okay, so let us enter the trade. It is a little dicey trying to predict reversals, but with enough practice you can anticipate reversals. So we're now in the trade. Let's see how it plays out. It's 12:07. And we are stopped out here. We are stopped out. Okay, that's fine. Trade recap. Stopped out. Trying to predict reversals doesn't always pan out, especially using 1-minute OTEs. But I also want to improve at using the 1-minute chart, so that's fine. That's fine with me. Honestly, I'd still be expecting higher prices, because we have now taken this sell side here. Looks like we continue to move lower, going into 1 o'clock. What a large movement downward for the day. Okay, approaching the 130 macro. Interesting, okay. So if I draw a fib on this displacement here, I'm just curious if we get further down into this bullish order block here. Okay. So I am going to trade this. I am going to trade this. Main reason being is I see this sell side of the curve flattening out. We have left so many relative equal highs here. We've already taken previous day's low. We're deeply in discount. I believe we are deeply in discount. And we're currently at an OTE within this bearish order block. Now this could just become an inverse BISI, but we're going to trade this. It's currently 2 p.m. So 12 to 1:30 is the accumulation. We're now in the manipulation, so this is in the middle of a manipulation phase. I'm interested in trading a manipulation. I'm interested in trading manipulations, because often price will move to a discount in a manipulation. So okay, so we're going to put our stop at this swing low. We're going to be targeting these relative equal highs here on the 15-minute. We'd probably take parcels off at this swing high. Could also just target the 50%. The risk to reward isn't completely favorable. Okay, I'm going to target 1 standard deviation of this displacement leg. And yeah, okay. We are in the manipulation phase. We are in the OTE of the 15-minute displacement. The sell side of the curve is beginning to flatten out, and I'm anticipating higher prices. We are very far below midnight price, and we've taken previous day's low. I believe we are in discount and will see higher prices, targeting 1 standard deviation of displacement leg. Okay, let us see how the trade pans out here. Seeing immediate reaction. Moving back into this BISI. Currently up 37 handles. Going to move my stop to break even. I'm also okay with that because I don't want to see price move back below this BISI. We've already rebalanced this BISI right here with this candle. I wouldn't want to see price move below this swing low here. Going into 230, this is the silver bullet hour. Moving back into that BISI. We see strong reaction from it. Looks like we are in a bit of a consolidation here. Going into 315. Okay, and we're stopped out. Interesting. Now, if we had targeted 0.5 standard deviation, our target actually would have been hit here. But that's fine, because the R to R would not have been to our liking. We did move our stop to break even, so this is a break even trade. Trade recap, we saw a strong reaction and our bias was accurate, but perhaps our target was a little too high. If we had targeted 0.5 standard deviation, trade would have been a success, but RR would be below 2. So I am happy with how strongly price reacted. If I had sold at the top of this, I mean, at its best, this trade was like 50 handles. And yeah, in all likelihood, I probably should have taken profit here at this swing high, or at least, hey, targeted this 0.5 standard deviation. But that's fine, we're learning here. Let's continue. We're still in the power hour, moving into this bullish order block. And we violate it. Okay. This is an ICT sell day. This was all the manipulation of the day. The manipulation happened from 7 a.m. to 10. New York kill zone. Never saw much retracement in this large displacement leg. I'm okay with that. Okay, so moving forward. Gonna mark out midnight price. Gonna mark out the high and the low of the day here. high made at 10 a.m., very random. Let's see, so that's going to be Wednesday's high. This is going to be Wednesday's low. Very interesting. Okay, so we took Tuesday's high, reversed, and then took Tuesday's low. May start to see lower prices here. Taking previous day's lows can engage sell profiles, but we'll just see. We're going to zoom ahead here to to midnight price. In the Asian session, consolidating as usual, engineering liquidity. Going to mark out midnight price here. We've already taken, it's now Thursday. Excuse me. It's now Thursday. We've already taken Wednesday's low. 2 a.m. Okay, large movement downwards at 2 a.m. We've taken the Asian sell side liquidity. This smells like a Judas to me. We are below midnight price. This could just be one massive market maker buy model. I see this curve starting to flatten out, but we shall see. Going into 3, I want to see how price interacts with these displacement legs. Theoretically, this would be an OTE of this displacement leg, but this displacement could also be a Judas. So pure Fibonacci traders may just instantly sell here. I wouldn't exactly trust that. Yeah, okay, yeah, see exactly. We just continue to go higher. So this was the Judas going into 3 a.m. We have this large BISI here, which I'm going to draw a fib on, again using the bodies. If we were to see a retracement into below 50%, I would buy. I would buy also because we have this SIBI here, so that would be an inverse fair value gap potentially. Going into 330, tapping that inverse fair value gap. We may just start to go higher from here. Okay, so we just tap the 50% level. I'm going to see if it continues to move further down. Okay, it does. Okay, so we're below midnight price. We've already taken previous day's lows. We've seen the Judas downwards. So I'm anticipating higher prices for the day here. I'm going to end up trading this. We have tapped 61.8% retracement level. Where would my target be? I would target 0.5 standard deviation, which also happens to be near a SIBI. Where would my stop be? I'm going to put it just at the mean threshold of this bullish order block's wick. Leaves us with a nice 2R trade. Okay, we've seen a Judas below midnight price with a strong displacement higher at 3 a.m. I'm expecting higher prices. We are below midnight price. This is an OTE of the displacement leg. So we're in this trade, and let's see what happens. Moving down to this volume imbalance here. Going into 4 a.m. now. Price did find support at this bullish order block. Getting close to being stopped out, and we're stopped out. It's 4:30. Okay, so we take that sell side. Interesting. Okay. We're going to journal this. Trade recap. Add a screenshot. Our bias was incorrect. The real Judas was to the upside, not the downside. We are still below midnight price, going into 5 a.m. here. This is a large move downwards. We're in a deep discount, hitting 6 a.m. now. Going into 7 a.m. Continue to move downwards into 7 a.m. Okay, there's 8:30 news. Taking this sell side swing low. Interesting thing is we did close above this SIBI, which makes me think that we're going to start to see higher prices. The 8:30 move is often a liquidity grab, so this downward movement during 8:30 makes me think that we only went downward to go upward as we entered New York. We've taken this liquidity. Going into 9 a.m. Something interesting to note is note the inverse fair value gap. Okay, we don't even go back into the fair value gap. This makes me think that this is bullish to me. These signatures of price are bullish to me. $9.30 hits. Okay. So we're now in this inverse fair value gap. It's most likely also an OTE. It is. Going into 9:45. I'm going to trade this. We're going to put a long position on. There's just multiple confluences in our favor. Okay, we're going to target 0.5 standard deviation. Going to put our stop below the mean threshold of this wick, this bullish order block. So we have multiple confluences in our favor. We are in a discount of this displacement leg from 8 a.m. We have seen a strong reaction from this upwards protraction from at 9:30, which makes me think that this could be, we could continue to go down further, but we've taken this sell side. I have a hard time thinking that we would go much lower for the day. And I do think this is a Judas. I believe this is a Judas downward move, and as we enter this inverse 15-minute BISI, that we would continue to go higher. So that's my premise for the trade here. I believe we will continue to go higher. We are in an OTE of the 8 o'clock AM displacement leg. We've taken sell side and are currently in a discount of the displacement. We are below midnight price and have already taken previous day's low. This is a 2.6R trade. Let's enter the trade and okay, and we're stopped out. I'm just seeing how price plays out. A lot of consolidation here. Boom. We take, okay, so we take that sell side. Good Lord, okay. Clearly our bias on the day was inaccurate. Our bias was incorrect. So 2 trade losses for the day. I'm not going to take any more trades in this current day, but I am going to continue to see how the day plans out. I mean, we've taken all this sell side. I'm anticipating higher prices. Going into 11 a.m., continuing to take sell side. Going into 11:45. I'm going to draw a fib on this displacement leg. This is at 12. It's often that we can see reversals at 12 because it is the end of the 6-hour quarterly period of time. So it's very possible that we will begin to reverse now. We reprice into this 15-minute BISI. We go higher. We're likely to see higher prices now, most likely targeting these wicks. Also curious how price is going to react to the mean threshold of this wick. Going into 115, we do indeed go higher. We've respected the mean threshold of that wick. It's now 2 p.m. We close above the mean threshold of this wick. It's possible we're going to end up coming back for this swing high. It's now 2:30. Have a large 15-minute BISI. Look how price taps into that. It's now 2:45. That is a silver bullet, no doubt about it. I'm curious if we'll just see higher prices for the rest of the day. 1 hour left of trading. Going a bit deeper into that BISI. Tapping this bullish order block. $3.30 hits. We've completely disrespected the bullish order block. And 4 p.m. sees a large rise higher. Interesting thing is if we draw the displacement from noon to 2:30, boom, OTE right at 3:45. Okay, so the day is concluded. I do find myself in the trap of trying to predict reversals. We tried to predict it at 8:30. We again tried during around 11, but the real reversal happened at 12. So that's just something to keep in mind. Regardless, we're going to move into the next day here. Okay, so we're going to begin with marking out our day's highs and low. High of the day occurred at 3 a.m. Low of the day occurred at 12. 11:45 to be precise. Going into Friday now. Gonna mark out midnight price. Thursday high. Thursday's low. I would be curious if we were going to see a TGIF setup, seeing a retracement of 30% of the weekly range. That is something I'm thinking about. Okay, so we have the previous day's highs and lows marked out. We've taken Wednesday's lows on Thursday, moving into Friday now. Let's move on ahead towards midnight. Okay, we have lots of consolidation during the Asian range, marking out our midnight price here. It's 2 a.m. moving higher. 3 a.m. See a large movement lower going into 3:30. Going into 5 a.m. We are still below midnight price. Looking at this range, we are just entering a discount of this range. Go up and we tap midnight price. Moving into a premium of this range. It is now going on 6 a.m. Very interesting to see how we move to a discount of this range as well as this new day opening gap. We moved to fill in this new day opening gap and we moved higher. Going into 7 a.m. Looks like this downwards move was the Judas that put us into a discount of this range here. This may be a TGIF setup. We have a 15-minute BISI. The price trades into and goes higher, going into 8 a.m. Dipping back down into that BISI. We have taken this buy side. So we've taken London buy side. And we're above midnight. Going into 8:45. in that potential OTE within this bullish order block, going into 9. Interesting. So we are now at 9:30 open. You see a strong move where it's down. We also are right at midnight price. Price will always react quite strongly to midnight price. We still have this London sell sign, which I'd be interested to see if price ends up reaching for. Going into 9:45. Strong reaction to midnight price, and we send it higher. Boom, we take Thursday's high. Interesting. Okay, so again, hindsight is always 20/20, but look at that beautiful buying opportunity here. But at the same side, at this at the same, sort of idea, price could have also continued to move lower and taken this sell side here. Very interesting to see how price reacts to that midnight price, though. Going into 10 a.m., 10:15. $10.45. This looks like a TGIF setup. Going into 11:30. Yeah, we just continue to move higher. Going into noon now. Really, I'm just waiting to see a retracement into this BISI. But sometimes on TGIF setups, you'll never even see that retracement, and it'll just continue to careen higher. Going into 115. Interesting, I do want to put a fib on this displacement here. We didn't even really move to a pure discount. We didn't even move to this BISI, which tells me that this is a very bullish sign. When we have a breakaway fair value gap like this, that's very bullish. It's very, very bullish. We do have another BISI here, going into 145. Again, I'm just waiting for retracements. My entries are based on retracements. Sometimes we're not going to get retracements, and that's fine, especially on days like this where we move 250 handles. Sometimes you're just not going to see a retracement. All I would really look for at this present moment would be a retracement here. But we already are going into the last hour of trading. We simply move into this BISI and continue to go higher. Mother of mercy, this was a bullish day. How many handles? Good God. 300 handles higher. Boom. 345. High of the day made at 345. Interesting. That's really, really interesting. Honestly, looking back at this day in hindsight, our best buy opportunity would have been right here, below midnight price, with TGIF in mind, retracing 30% of the weekly range, which, Jesus, we basically retraced the entire weekly range here. Other than that, I really don't see a whole lot of other opportunities on this day. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're going to mark out our daily highs and lows and take this fib off. We'll just mark this as Friday's high. Friday's high and Friday's low. We're going to move price forward here to midnight. Consolidation during the Asian range. We take Asian buy side. Gonna mark out our midnight price. Going into 130, we've already taken Friday's high. Okay, going into 3 a.m. This may be the Judas higher. Going into 4 a.m. Something curious to note is that we still have these relative equal lows here. Going into 5 a.m. Again, I'm just curious to look at this displacement leg. We did tap the 61.8% retracement level. So we've taken these relative equal lows, but we've not taken these. There's just something fishy about these to me. A part of me wants to trade this, but I'm not going to, because we did see strong reaction for midnight price. A part of me wants to short that. That would have played out quite nicely. Going into 530. A lot of relative equal lows here. Price will come back for these, 100%. Going into 630. Boom, okay, we take those relative equal lows. And then we see displacement higher. Going into 7 a.m. seeing large movement higher. I put a fib on this. If I see movement into discount of this displacement leg, I will most likely trade it. We take that buy side. We didn't get any retracement. Going into 845. Okay, so we did retrace into that. We are currently at a discount of this displacement leg. We saw these relative equal lows here. We are above midnight price. I want to long this. I want to long it, but I can't quite trust that given that we've already taken buy side. A very volatile 930. Okay, so yeah, the long would have been a success. But that's fine. We can wait for more retracements. Jesus Christ, January was a crazy month. Already moved another 200 handles just today. Going into 10:15. Silver bullet hour. I mean, we've moved 180 handles in the last hour. Yeah, that was our buy. That was our OTE. I need to develop more trust in recognizing that. Good Lord. What an insane Jesus, man. Nothing but buy side delivery. Going into 11:15. Going into noon. Noon can be the sign of reversal. Going into 1:15, we take this buy side. Are we really just going to continue to move higher? Ah, there's some displacement. Going into 2:15. Going into 3. We're most likely just going to consolidate for the rest of the day. 3:45. And 4. Okay, so what a massive buy side delivery day. I mean, that's 300 handles on the NQ. And this was our OTE. Happened from 9 to 9:30. Took this sell side, displaced higher. Took sell side, took buy side, retracement, and boom, takeoff. So it's important for me to develop more faith in buying here. But that's fine. Let's see how much time we have left here. About 4 minutes left. Monday high, Monday low, going to move forward ahead to midnight price. Since time is limited here, we're going to just look at one more day of price action before wrapping this up. Curious how price will interact with this displacement leg. I'd wonder if we'd move into more of a discount before sending it higher. Asian range consolidating as usual. I would expect some movement downward as we head into London. Going into 130. We're still in a premium of this displacement leg, but doesn't mean that price is necessarily going to move downwards. We're at 230. 3, 4 a.m. 5 a.m. Continuing to move lower. I'm going to look at the mean threshold of this wick here. Curious to see if we're going to see support. We do indeed see support at the mean threshold. We close more than 50% of this SIBI. Okay, we take that sell side. It's going on 7 a.m. now. Continuing to give sell side delivery going into 7:45. We're below midnight price. Continue to take sell side here. 8:30, large displacement downward. I'm going to put another fib on this displacement from yesterday. Still in a premium of the yesterday's range. Going into 9:15. That's our timer. We are going to continue this day though. Okay, so we saw a strong reaction from this BISI, which happened to be at just about the 50% level. We never quite made it to 50%. $10 o'clock displacement, bringing us into this 15-minute BISI. I'm going to draw a fib on this. If we move below 50%, okay, we did there. I'm not going to buy this. Honestly, I should just put a limit order here, because this is also an inverse fair value gap, because we have this SIBI. Interesting. Yeah, I would have longed here. I would have longed right here. Okay, so we're back into that. Okay. I'm going to long this. I'm going to long this. We're below midnight price. We have taken London buy side, which works against us, but we're below midnight price. We do have Monday's high above us. We moved to almost a discount of this displacement leg. but we've closed above this SIBI. So I'm going to think that this is an inverse fair value gap. I'm going to target Monday's high here. My stop below this swing low. This is a 3.6R trade. Yeah, as you notice, we have this SIBI here. Price closed above it, came back in down into it. I expect this to function as an inverse fair value gap. Okay. We are below midnight price. Price is in an OTE. What's the displacement? Okay, the 8:45. The 8:45 a.m. displacement leg. This is also what I expect to be an inverse fair value gap. I should just use the acronym. It's too long to type out. I'm expecting higher prices, targeting Monday's high. It is very possible, though, that we just form a Tuesday low of the week here. We could continue to go lower, but the context that I've seen so far makes me think that this is something to long. Almost get stopped out there. We're already at 52 handles, so I'm going to move my stop loss to break even. Notice how price came back during the 10 o'clock displacement back into this SIBI, or excuse me, BISI. Wow, so I'm actually stopped out. I am just curious. So that's another break-even trade, but I'm curious if we will see our target hit if we had not moved our stop. Going into 11, going into 12, going into 1, going into 2. Midnight price is acting as strong resistance. Okay, so a bit of a consolidated, okay, of course, at 4 p.m. our target would have been hit. So if we had not moved our stop, this would have been a successful trade of 120 handles. So that is the downside of moving the stop, and I'm going to take that into further consideration moving forward. Perhaps I should just let my stop be within this SIBI, or excuse me, BISI. Anyhow, we had the right idea of where price was eventually going to move to. And that's really what's important. No money lost and information gained, which is a win. Thank you for your time, and I'm going to stop the recording here. Have a wonderful day.